Okay, so today we're just going to run through my tests. Intro Test B and Intro Test C. I will be competing with these tests next month. Terrible stop. So, yeah, my camera didn't follow me through that corner though. But this is Intro Test B. And I'm just doing a little run through here because I'd like to compare this video to my video next month at the show and see if I made any improvement between now and then. So it felt not that great, but then I watched back the video. I'm like, hey, we don't look half bad most of the time. So I do have a whole month to work on it. I think I have 5 weeks. Love this walk. Love how he's stretching. So good. I hope he stretches like that at the show. Because I think that would get a 7.5. So we'll see. So this first test is just a walk trot test. So it's really quick and simple, fast, especially in my little arena. So it missed me again for some reason. My camera was just not in the right place. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 5 weeks. It felt like a disaster, but then I look and I'm like, hey, we don't look that bad. This halt is so much better than my entry halt. And I did it more walk steps into that halt. So it didn't turn out to be better. So that is Intro Test B. And I think he did pretty good. And I would just like to see improvement from that ride to our ride next month in 5 weeks at the show. So, good boy. All right, this is Intro Test C. This does have that canter transition in there. Again, a horrible stop. I mean, this was worse than the other two from the other test. And then this time, I'll be tracking right. And the camera does follow me this time. So we do a trot circle to the right. He looks super good. I feel all over the place, especially because this is like a half court size. So everything comes up really quickly when you're riding in a half court. And then our canter circle. Doesn't look too bad, just slow. You just felt really sucked back there. And then you trot across the arena. You know, and he felt like so tense going through both of these tests. He's just really tense and antsy, and I'm like, why? But honestly, this is the first time that I have ever ridden a test on him, ever. So, and then this is definitely the first time riding these two tests as well. So he's just like, you know, it is different to write a test than it is to work on something specific. So it was a different feel, and that's probably why he was kind of tense. But we did have moments of perfection. I just hope that he does better next time. So I tried to sit the trot, tried to bend him to the inside, try to pick out that left lead canter. It didn't happen. It didn't happen again. Brought him back down to trot. He was so tense. Tried to get him off my inside leg. Tried to do it again. And he still didn't pick up the right lead canter. The left, which is the left. I still didn't, so I made my circle smaller to see if that would help. It didn't. He's just running the right way now. He's just running through the bit. Picked up the right lead again. So because we're not at a show and I'm schooling him, I was like, we're not leaving the circle until we pick up our left lead canter. I tried doing a really teeny circle. He still picks up the wrong lead. And then out of the circle, he picks up the wrong lead. I'm like a bit at a loss because he's really tense. He's like really pulling on my arms. Trying to supple him down. Trying to get him to relax a little bit. Still not relaxed. Still pulling. And I was like, stop pulling on me. Get off my leg. And then I try, and then I think I do one more small circle like that. Stop pulling on me. Get off my leg. Off my leg. And then I ask for the transition, and he picks it up. And I was like, good boy, you did it. So, let's hope that's better at the show next month. I walked a little bit early. You're actually supposed to walk after that, corner. And then across the diagonal, really good stretch here. I think 7.5. Oh, my dogs are barking. That should be good enough for a 7. And then I think the camera loses me again. No, it doesn't. Okay, and then we're trotting. And then this is just awkward because you just trot down the long side and then down center line again. So, overall, it looks pretty good except for that left lead canter transition. But, I mean, he looks pretty consistent for only been in work for a month. Still bracing at that halt. Here we go. So, those are my 2 tests. Am I proud of them? Not really. But if I consider this as the first time I've ever ridden him on a test, and the first time we've ridden these 2 tests, feeling all over the place is pretty normal, I think. I don't remember because it's been so long since I've shown and so long since I've ridden tests that maybe I'm misremembering, but I always felt like the first time riding through a test, I thought things were coming up too quickly. I felt really pressured. So I definitely had those feelings today. I felt like we were all over the place. He wasn't really paying attention. He wasn't moving off my leg the way he was supposed to. But then you watch the footage back. This is why it's good to record because then you watch it and you're like, wow, it doesn't look that bad, even though it feels pretty bad, but it doesn't look that bad. He definitely put in some really nice 20-meter trot circles. So we've been riding for about a month. Let me see. Let me check dates again. So I started riding on the 10th. So it's been it's been 3 weeks, so almost a month. Next week will be 1 month. And we've definitely made improvement since our first ride, I think. Maybe. And so I just wanted to record these two tests. Oh yeah, my camera somehow picks up Layla and decides that it's gonna record her now. I don't know why. It just, yeah. So while we're looking at Layla, uh I'm just gonna say my goal is for the show in February, I want our rides to look a little bit more put together than these two rides. And we have 5 weeks to make some kind of improvement. So that's just my goal, is to make some improvement on what I wrote here. So that should be achievable. And then if it win or lose, I'll still be happy because I made improvements in comparison to these two rides. So setting myself up for success and feeling happy about it. This is also the first time that I've ridden in a dressage saddle since getting back in riding. So yay! And I was actually super impressed with how I did. I think that riding in that Western saddle, yeah, it'll start following us again. Riding in that Western saddle for the first 3 weeks was so beneficial to my position and my muscles. So now I have better leg muscles than I did when that first ride, because that Western saddle kind of helps you stay in place. So that when I did switch to my dressage saddle, things are a little bit more slippery. So you do have to use a little bit more leg muscle to keep your legs steady. And I think that it worked out great. I didn't feel off balance at all in the saddle. I didn't feel slippery at all in the saddle. I didn't feel like my leg muscles weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. I felt like my leg was pretty steady and I felt very balanced. And I'm also hoping that being in the dressage saddle will help him as well. A dressage saddle is built a lot differently than a Western saddle, and it does allow more shoulder movement than a Western saddle. So I'm hoping that he feels more comfy being able to move his shoulders and his withers, especially because the massage therapist last week did say he was sore in his withers. So I do think that now that we're riding in the dressage saddle, that should help with that soreness in his withers. Um, so yeah, it felt really good to be back in my dressage saddle. Um, I definitely look very heavy for my saddle. I was like, oh my gosh, my butt barely fits in it. Um, but I think that's just because I'm pregnant. So, if anybody wants to come on here and tell me I'm fat, you know what? My body is growing a life, which is more than I can say for anybody who wants to tell me that I'm fat. And growing a life is no easy thing here. So sometimes our body gets compromised so we can support the life that's growing in us, and that is okay. It happens. Your body goes through so many changes when you're pregnant, and you shouldn't have to feel bad for that. Anyway, so we're just walking out. I do a lot of walking at the end of this ride today because I didn't videotape. We did do a warm up and my phone was dead because the camera is actually connected to my phone, so it records off of my phone. And my phone was dead when I got on and started riding. So like I had my husband plug it in for me into my mobile battery. So I brought the battery out. He brought the battery outside for me and plugged it in. And then while I was warming up, we were letting the phone charge a little bit so it'd be able to take a video. And I was like, the main thing I want to see is my test. But I did have a really good warm up, and I am kind of disappointed that I didn't get that on film too. But we did ride a lot more than just these two tests. We did do a warm up. We did some canter transitions, which I was hoping those canter transitions would set him up for success in that left lead canter transition in the test, but it didn't. So at the show, if we pick up our left lead canter, I'm going to be over the moon. I don't even care if the whole rest of the test is terrible and bad and we score like super, super low. If I pick up that left lead canter, that will be a win. For sure, because we're struggling really hard on that one. All right. Well, I think that's all the commentary I have. I don't know if we want to just keep watching me walk around. He looked at the camera a little bit. Uh-oh, the camera lost me. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye here. Bye, and let's hope that this improves.